ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome into round 6 of the Save Your 6 Racing League here at the Spanish Grand Prix around the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. We are going through our new standard full qualifying here. We'll be going 3 sessions. One of the Alfa Romeos unable to start here today. Weren't able to get the correct parts on the car after a crash in practice. So it will just be Vapor Hayden as the only Alfa Romeo here in Barcelona. But 19 total drivers. Still will have 4 eliminated after Q1. All right, hey, there we go. Now we have some sound. All right, everybody, welcome in here now that we can do a true intro. We'll get it going. Buenos dias, amigos, depending on where you are. Welcome in here to Save Your 6 Racing League's Spanish Grand Prix, round 6 around the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. A 4.7, 16-turn circuit, 9 to the right and 7 to the left. We're on board here with Vapor Hayden, 4 DNFs in his first 5 races. Definitely has not been able to get any sort of run here. Hopefully can get back on form here today in Spain. After finishing P2 last season, he's been really struggling so far this season. On his first qualifying lap here, he's going to come across the line, and it's a 1:17.6 from Vapor Hayden. Let me get an invite out real quick. Sorry about that, Brogan. Let's see, KTR is not showing up or is lagged out. I'm not sure what's going on. She's showing up offline. But currently, the Red Bulls are P1 and P2. We will be right back after this short 2 to 3 minute intermission.
Damn, I am pissed I am out in qualifying.
And welcome back here, folks. We have the Renault of Hash starting a hot lap attempt here. Currently only 3 drivers with lap times on the board. Appears RB Draco may have crashed out. Not 100% sure what happened there. But we have just gotten word that there is a massive, and I mean massive, rainstorm on the way here. One of the biggest Spain has seen in their many of years.
I clipped the grass and spun and went into the wall.
Oh, and that is unfortunate, as you just heard. Got a quick message there from RB Draco. He has a time on the board, but we'll have to see if it's going to be enough to get him out of Q1. Not a very quick time, but you never know what can happen in these. As long as you have a time on the board, you have a chance. But as we were saying, Spain having one of their largest rainstorms in history passing through for the race. Qualifying looking very dry, but the race will be 100% rain, a downpour here. A sight you usually don't see in Spain. So it'll be very interesting to see who did practice and who didn't, and who is prepared for this weather. Granny Boy already retiring, getting through very easily here in the qualifying session. As my cat Puma is currently flying around my basement. Doing all sorts of crazy things. Hash, though, with the P3 time there, will hop on board with Prince, his teammate, as he goes for a lap here. As we have a yellow flag, just drivers moving out of the way in Sector 1. Coming here through the tricky Sector 3. We'll try to hop on board with somebody for a full lap so we can get a commentary on it. The Ferraris, one on an out lap, one currently on a hot lap, running into some traffic. As Prince may be on an in lap, actually. He must have DSQ'd his time, actually, there. Going into Sector 3, we saw him jump the curb a little. So he's going to go for another lap attempt here on these same set of tires. We'll hop down here to Chief. Starting to catch up to this traffic ahead. Let's see if they get clear out of the way in time, as he is on a hot lap attempt right now. Closing in on the back of Knight. Oh, and Chris had to lift pretty heavy there, not knowing if Knight was going to see him or not. We'll see if the driver's ahead. As he comes to the end of Sector 2, it's a 51 flat at the moment. Now you come to Sector 3 here. Your tires from all the high-speed, high-load corners are going to be extremely overheated, especially if you didn't manage them very easily there. Walker getting out of the way nice and early from the Ferrari, and his teammate is going to be right ahead. He's going to decide to not wait behind and try to get slipstream. Walker, though, may be able to get some slipstream if he's going for a hot lap, but I believe he's going in the pits right now, and yes, he is. It's a P7 for Chief Chris, a 1:17.9. So, as you can see, start losing a little bit of pace as you get towards the backstretch there. As Knight Katzi begins a hot lap here, let's hop on board with him. Drifting slightly wide, breaking around the 100-meter board. You want to go hook the inside curb on the right, then hook the left inside curb. Don't want to ride the curb. Your car will lose a little bit of downforce. You may start to lose it. And then you want to try to keep it tight through here, as Knight goes a little bit wider than you ideally want to be. You want to make the full power. As he comes down here into the beginning of Sector 2, the hard left-hander. Yeah, all these turns, you can see a lot of high-speed turns, loading your tires, heating them up, causing them to overheat. You generate a lot of heat on this track, especially with the weather here. Normally very hot, as Knight drifts pretty wide there. That's definitely not an ideal line here. You're going to want to have to try to pick up the pace a little. Decent time so far, but that he is still valid at the moment. Chief Chris and the Ferrari getting out of the way. And here at this point, your tires are just dying. As you come through the slow, you need a lot of grip here, a lot of traction, or you can lose your car pretty easily. It's hard to get the grip down. Coming through the final turn 16 up here. run to the line. Where's it going to be for Knight? P4 for Knight Catsy, and we saw many areas he can improve on that lap. So he definitely will be able to go faster than that. Merrick in third position right now, going for a second lap in Q1. Definitely a bold strategy there. You only get 4 sets at max of soft tires if you make Q3 there. But we're on board here now, knowingly. Setting a hazard time on the board. He may be on the in lap. Nope, he is currently 2/10 up on his fastest lap. Traffic approaching in front. I believe that is the Red Bull of, I want to say, El Capitano. Granty Boy is retired from the session. On his out lap, going to try to stay out of Connor's way. He's not going to have time to cool the tires down a little. He's going to go flat out to the line as Connor's going into the pits. Let's hop on board with Vapor Cobalt. Going into Sector 2, looks like he's had a pretty good first sector based on his time right now. Trailing behind Revis, who's up ahead. We'll take a look at his Sector 2 time. It's a 1:49.7, one of the faster times we've seen so far. Ahead of where Knight Catsy was, ahead of where Chris was at this time. But it all comes down to this last sector. You can make up a lot of time, especially if you saved your tires during the early 2 sectors of the lap. The Sector 3, definitely one of the trickier ones on tire wear anyway, and keeping your tire temperatures down. You'll see it in real life, you'll see it in this game. But we'll watch Revis here, coming across the line. Where's it going to be? It's good enough for P3 for Revis. A 1:16.1, and I believe he will retire from the session after that. Vapor Cobalt across the line, and he's P4, 1:16.3 for Cobalt. So it looks like Revis is starting to get back in his groove, the champion from last year. But we'll have to see if Hayden can. Hayden has been just a step slow, something off so far this season. Down in 13th, fastest lap of 1:17.1 only at the moment. We'll hop on board with Brogan. Looks like he's starting a hot lap, fresh set of softs. 5 minutes only left in Q1 right now, so definitely want to try to get some times on the board. Draco currently still P15, crashed out, but his time is still holding P15. If he holds that spot, we only have 14 drivers in Q2. I don't believe they're going to be able to get his car fixed in time. So Walker goes faster than Granny Boy, a whole second faster. Granny Boy on the medium tires, though, with his lap time. Brogan, though, coming through Sector 2, he's going to have traffic in front of him. It looks like the McLaren, the Renault, sorry about that, of Prince, getting out of the way nice and early. Very good, clean racing there. As the Haas, the American F1 team, something we all love to see here. Gene Haas, still hanging around in F1, and the cost cap will definitely help them out. So it appears Brogan may have given up on the lap and going for a new one here. All right, Brogan going on a hot lap right now at the moment. Tiburon James has already invalidated his time. Brogan Morris with a 1:19.4, but he will be going for a hot lap attempt here. Gonna hook the inside curb, then you want to try to hook the left, but not too much. He lets a little off the power. You want to hook it a little bit more than that. You don't want to end up with your tire on the curb like Brogan did there. You'll lose a lot of downforce, and that tire is just going to want to slide right out from underneath you. You'll see, I can almost guarantee we will see quite a few accidents from that today. Tomorrow in the race, especially with the rain. They'll need to try to avoid the curbs as much as they can, not cause any incidents. As they come up on the back of Tiburon James, getting well out of the way. Currently P16 for the McLaren driver. Tiburon James, Prince, and Brogan all going to want to try to improve on their times right now. Chief Chris currently clear of the bubble by about 0.6 of a second. But Brogan, 1.3 up on his fastest lap right now. Revis Island is retired, as the top runners know that they are safe and through, so they're going to try to save tires, and they're going to watch the broadcast and watch everybody else, see what they're doing, and see who their competition will be, see how the strategies are differing from what they're trying to do. Brogan, though, coming through the final turn, this should be good enough to get him out of the bottom. We'll see as he comes across the line. It's going to be a 1:17.4 that gets Brogan out the bottom, and Prince with a 1:17.3 just ahead of Brogan. All crucial there. With only 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, Brogan will not have time for another hot lap and pit stop here. Tiburon James on a hot lap.
Does it have to be heavy rain in race?
that's due to the coastal storms. We don't usually see it in Spain. But unfortunately, we picked the wrong date on the calendar here for Spain, so got the rain coming through. At least it's not snow. That's all I can say. That would be extremely difficult. We need the studded tires broken out. But Tiburon James is on a hot lap. His tires are 2 laps old, but he should still be able to get a time on the board that should be able to get him out of the bottom. Chief Chris currently not through. The Ferrari driver down in P16 on an out lap. Once Tiburon James finishes his lap, we will try to hop on board Chief Chris. He may have time for only 1 lap, potentially 2, but I believe he'll only have 1 lap attempt. Tiburon James, this will be his final lap here. He'll need to try to get out of the bottom. Let's see if he can keep up the speed through the final sector. Left, right through the penultimate corner, down through the final turn, to the front straight line, and I don't think it's going to be quick enough. It's not. It's P17 only for the McLaren of Tiburon James as we hop on board with Chief Chris, still on a valid lap time, currently only 0.5 of a second quicker than his fastest lap, though. Brogan Morris is 0.5 ahead right now.
But why didn't he see the notification in time to hop in? I was on good form too.
As Chief Chris coming towards the end of Sector 2. Can he get out of the bottom? He's going to have to try to go 0.5 seconds quicker than his fastest lap right now. The Ferrari of Chief Chris with only 3 turns to go. Hopefully not being distracted. He does pretty well there. It's going to be very tight here to the line. Chief Chris looks like he's going to do it. And he does. P11 at the death, knocking Brogan Morris out of Q1. Brogan all the way down in 16th, will not be able to go faster, still in the pits. Great job by Prince. Tiburon James unable to improve on his time, running out of fuel at the final moment. A great lap from Chief Chris to solidify a spot in Q2. So we wait for Chief Chris to retire from the session. The only driver remaining still on a lap. Once he pulls in the pits, it should advance us to Q2. Oh wait, Hosh is currently out on track. Can't tell if he's on a hot lap right now. I can't imagine he would be. He should be done right now. A couple drivers just circulating the track. Pretty much done. Just waiting for Chief Chris and Hash to retire from the session. A minute 20 left if they don't notice, until it will just automatically advance the session. But at the moment, P19 for the race will be KTJR making his Savior 6 Racing League debut with the Williams Racing Team. RB Draco down in P18 after a stellar debut. Hasn't had the performances he's wanted since becoming a full-time driver for the AlphaTauri team. Hopefully, he can become driver of the day here and move up the field. But going to be very hard from the P18 position. Tiburon James, 17th, after getting his first points of the season with a P10 after some penalties were applied at Zandvoort. Brogan Morris, probably the surprise of the session, P16 for the Haas driver. It's going to be hard for him to get some points here on the season after that result in qualifying. Going to be starting P16 for Brogan Morris. Walker, though, with the fastest lap, almost a second faster than Granny Boy's time on the medium tires. Boom, 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 boom. Good luck to all in Q2. Bienvenidos. Bienvenidos. Believe we have a second commentator here that should be able to join in for the race. We had him in Vietnam, and we'll be inviting him in again here today. Help us keep track of the action. As 15 drivers will be going out here for Q2, the top 10 will advance to Q3, but tires will probably not matter as we are projecting the massive rainstorm to be hitting here in Barcelona very shortly, especially during the race, and it should be a downpour for the entire race. It'll be very interesting to see who decides to try to save an extra set for Q3, who pushes here. Granny Boy used the medium tires to try to make sure he gets out, saves an extra set of softs here just in case he needs it.
Party chat.
All right, and we have invited our commentator into the booth. He has passed the COVID protocols, and he should be stepping in here shortly. And there he is. Traffic a little tight there.
Yeah, sorry, man. Just got done with work, and happy to be here.
All right, well, Mooks, you met him all. You heard from him in Vietnam. Back again here for round 6 at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Got through traffic, passed his COVID protocols, and he's in the booth here with us just in time here for the start of Q2. And Granny Boy on his hot lap attempt. I believe he did not invalidate there. It's not showing an invalidation on our map. Very close, though, from Granny Boy. Just needs to set some solid times. We know some of these drivers have the pace and just have to try to get some laps on the board. But yellow flags around a lot of the circuit right now. Try to get the lap data up here for us as well. Granny Boy, though, I mean, I don't even think we need the lap data with him. Would be very impressive if he was... Oh, and he does invalidate there, actually. Through turn 8, the left to right kink. Through the middle of sector 2 there, Granny Boy does invalidate. But as we said before, he'll be able to set more lap times on these softs, as they will not be starting the race on their tires in this qualifying session unless they have just an insane mindset. As we were talking earlier, I don't know if Mooks knows or not, but we do have one of the largest rainstorms Spain has ever seen coming through in the past 10 years for the race. And
yeah, I'm a little shook. That's I heard better on the weather as I was driving while stuck in traffic, but you know, should be interesting.
Yeah, I didn't bring my jacket here today. I thought we were getting sun and some nice clean open racing, but it'll be very interesting, as I can't imagine a lot of the teams prepared for the rain here around Spain. There's a reason they do the testing here every year, is because you get clear skies all the time, so be very interesting. I was calling, I think, that turn 2 that Granny Boy just went through, I think a lot of drivers will be spinning in there. I was saying 3 or 4 at least will be spinning on that inside curb. One of the trickier parts of the circuit, either there or the turn 7 to 8 chicane where we saw Granny Boy invalidate. I would say those probably the 2 trickiest spots on the circuit overall. What would you say, Mooks?
Just let me think about what turn that is. I believe it is. You will see that. I believe it is Nightcast going through there right now. Nightcast going through that tough left-hander, and then that sweeping left that he's going through right now. That uphill left-right. I think that's a very tough part of the track.
Yeah, very slow there, especially after the faster two sectors before. A lot of high-speed turns, both left and right, loading your tires up super hard and causing a lot of temperature to go into those tires. So by the time you get to that portion of the circuit, your tires are absolutely screaming, both in real life and the game, as we talked about in Q1, and it's very hard to get the traction down as Granny Boy goes fastest, a 1:14.7. Currently, though,
I don't have much lap data here so far. I didn't expect to be making it, to be completely honest. So we'll see.
Well, you can help just keep an eye on things or whatever you feel like doing. But currently, I believe all of our reserve, our reserve driver for the day has already been knocked out, unable to even set a time for the Williams team. But Walker, as the good news we've had, has been able to fix his connection issues and will be returning as a full-time driver for the Williams after his one-off George Russell-esque debut performance for the Mercedes team last week at Zandvoort. He'll be back in the Williams, and Williams car in the format we use, everybody's equal performance, so it won't be as dreadful as it was for George Russell. Hopefully be able to get Williams some solid points. They've been dropping a little bit. Still P4 in the Drivers' Championship, but only 4 points ahead of 7th place. So 4th through 7th are separated by a mere 4 points in the Constructors' standings. So very tight insane there. With Red Bull and Racing Point currently running away with it. 150 points for Red Bull. Grady Boy mainly doing a lot of that with a reserve performance from Warrior Inns. Racing Point with 117 points. A lot of that coming from Vapor Cobalt. Some from Connor, Knowing Light, and then a reserve performance from Owen Wilson last week at Zandvoort, getting 8 points for the Racing Point team. A very solid performance from him, especially after DNFing in his first appearance in Australia.
Yeah, where was it? Wait. Yeah, I must say, having the, what was it, Thursday off, that was nice. From reserve to, driving China. I did not expect to be driving China. I was given the call. I pulled a frickin' Nico Hulkenberg out of my... Vapor Hayden has spun. He's just spinning.
As you can tell, the tires are already overheated here, so it's even harder to get the car going in a straight line here, especially after a spin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Hayden really struggling so far. We haven't seen him step back up to his performance he had, that consistency he had last season. Revis Island has been improving so far in the last couple races. We've seen him starting to step up and try to carry the load for McLaren, but we haven't seen it from Hayden. We were talking about it earlier, 4 DNFs in his first 5 races.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate from him. We're really hoping to see him at his best as he decides to break some wing there. Try to get some free advertising for Orland Racing.
Yeah, but another person that last year, before rebrand, was El Capitan. He was pretty consistent in the wet, so we'll see what he can do here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. He was decently happy, accepted his performance in Zandvoort, especially after getting a couple unnecessary penalties. He was pretty happy with the 7th place position. Should have probably been 8th, but due to getting across the line before the leader, he was able to pull out the time penalty gap on Merrick. Which, if it was time penalties, Merrick would have beat him, but just due to his teammate, the leader, finishing between the two of them, it helped him out a ton and saved him 7th place.
Yeah, that's very lucky.
But so far, definitely my surprise of the season, I would have to say, is the Ferrari of Sohan Matthew. He didn't get points last week, but he's been solid so far through the entire season. P5 for the Ferrari driver, but currently no lap time on the board at the moment. We watch Connor come around the final turn, setting his lap time, and what's it going to be? He goes faster with a 1:16.0. The Racing Point's currently holding P3 and P4, solid laps from both of them.
Yeah, both Ferraris at the moment going quite quickly. Sohan Matthew and Chief Chris on the same portion of the track. Yeah.
On board with Sohan Matthew right now. I wonder if Chief Chris was trying to give him some tow here. Some of the spots you can use a tow, but you will lose a little bit of downforce as well. I would assume he was giving him slipstream as he goes P6, so 1:16.2.
P6.
And Chief Chris. Let's look at his tire data. Let's try to pull that up here real quick. And yes, Chief Chris was on. This is his second lap on this set of tires, so he must have invalidated his first lap and decided to try to help his teammate there with some slipstream.
Yeah.
But Chief Chris currently P11.
Quickly.
He set a final lap, buzzer beater lap, I'd say, to make it out of Q1 at the death. Was able to get there and bump Brogan Morris out in P16. Probably our surprise of the day, saying how he was going to be getting points this race, but it'll be very hard to see it come from back in the field. Draco or Brogan, though, I believe either of them can do it from back there, if I had to pick one. Tiburon James, though, is back there as well after getting his first points of the season in the Netherlands.
Yeah, we've seen some insane performances, not to brag or anything, but P14 to, what was it, 6th at China, it's definitely possible for Brogan. It's quick if you can be consistent.
1000. This is the worst track.
And we get a message from one of the drivers saying that they are not very happy with the current conditions on the track. Very upset with what is going on, whether that's the rain or just the track in general. As Rebus Island retires from this session, currently only 5/10 from safety. A couple of these drivers down the field go faster. He may be able to get knocked out, but I highly doubt it. Should be pretty safe.
I wouldn't be so sure.
Some of these drivers down here still in the pits. It'll be hard for them to get a solid lap, only one attempt. Vapor Hayden, currently one of the drivers that is down in the bottom right now. He has already invalidated this lap, so he's probably going to try to recharge here and go for another lap. Hopefully he has enough fuel. If he has to box to try to put some fuel in his car, I don't believe he will have enough time to get around for another lap. That would be very unfortunate from Hayden. Capitano on an out lap. He should have 2 attempts here if he has enough fuel in the car. So if he does invalidate this first lap, he will be able to go for another. And Hayden is starting a hot lap here. This will probably be his last attempt. I can't imagine he has enough fuel in the car for 3 hot laps. Chief Chris in the pits. He's going to be coming out for another lap. Purple Catfish is on an out lap as well, trying to go faster. Currently P10 with a 1:16.6 from Hash. And a really good debut from the Renault driver. Lagged out, though, in Zandvoort. Unable to reconnect, and it cost him big time. He probably on for a P4 or P5. Ended up finishing outside the points after the AI took control of his car. Starts to ghost you. It's very hard to... Not really much you can do to defend it unless you can rejoin. But Vapor Hayden here, coming through the very fast turn 9, opening his DRS here. The first DRS on this lap, as he is only 4/10 up on his fastest lap. That would be good enough right now for borderline P10, P9. It's going to be very close here. Hayden is going to really want to nail this last couple turns here. Through turns 14, 15. Going to have to try to get the power down early and often here. He looks like he did it pretty well there. Not a lot of sliding. And it's going to be P8 for Vapor Hayden. Should be enough to get him through. It's going to be very close here, though, as we have a few drivers that are behind him on out laps or hot laps. Purple Catfish being one of them, currently 2/10 up on his fastest lap. If he can keep that up through the lap, that would put him ahead of Vapor Hayden. El Capitano also on a hot lap right now ahead of him, and he spins and crashes. El Capitano has crashed out, I believe.
Oh, that's not
down on the front stretch. And he must have invalidated his lap coming out of that final turn. He must have invalidated the first lap and then invalidated it the start of the next lap. That's very unfortunate. That's very helpful, though, for Vapor Hayden. One less driver that can knock him out. Ricky Star,
Yeah.
Merrick, Catfish,
Okay.
Chief Chris, all can go faster here. Prince as well on a hot lap at the moment.
Prince
So we
is yet
watch
to set a time, so.
Catfish coming around the final turn. It's only P9, 5/hundredths behind Vapor Hayden. He's going to really be upset if he gets knocked out because of that. As we watch, who's the next closest? Oh, Chief Chris has spun out. His hot lap attempt is over. He will not have another run here. Ricky Star coming through the end of Sector 1 through the beginning of Sector 2. He is on a hot lap. Merrick on an out lap. I don't know if Merrick will get there in time. 20 seconds. Actually, yeah, yes, he will. Merrick will be able to go for another hot lap here. As Prince is not going to be going for another lap, but Ricky Star currently only 400ths up on his fastest lap. If he is able to go faster, he will be knocking his teammate of Night Catsy out. The Mercedes drivers have been together the entire season. Whether it's in the race, the standings, they always seem to be next to each other one way or another. Ricky Star coming through the final turns. He goes a little bit wider there, wider than he'd want to be for the ideal racing line. Down to the line, what's it going to be? It's not going to be fast enough. It's faster, but not fast enough. Night Catsy holds the position by 5/100ths of a second. It all comes down to Merrick, whether he can knock both the Mercedes out in Q2, a sight you will never see in real life. But Merrick can do it. He needs a very good final sector here. Currently 3/10ths up. He is on pace. He just needs to match his final sector time from the previous lap, as he looks pretty good so far. Merrick, P4 currently in the driver's standings. Actually, P5, as Walker has now rejoined his full-time seat, thankfully. We talked about that earlier, whether I don't believe Mooks was here for that. But it's always good news having new better drivers be able to race here. But Merrick coming across the line. It's going to be fast enough. It's P9.
Oh.
Sneaking somehow between Catfish and Hayden. Very tight battle as Catfish makes it through by 9 milliseconds, knocking out Night Catsy. Holy cow, what a qualifying session. Catfish making it in by the skin of his teeth after a sensational performance in Zandvoort. Qualifying, I believe it was P5, and then finishing the race in, what was it, P4? P5 in the end, after the time penalties. After spinning out, he could have easily passed Revis, but spun in the last turn, unfortunately, when the rain started to come down. But yeah, very good race. Very good performance again from Purple Catfish. Getting in, getting that lap on the board right when he needed it. Same with Merrick, same with Hayden. And Hayden doing his lap on 3-lap-old soft tires. As we get the top 10, knocked out are both the Mercedes, Night Catsy in 11th, Ricky Star in 12th, Prince of the Renault in 13th, Chief Chris in the Ferrari 14th, and El Capitano down in 15th in the Red Bull. His fastest lap on the medium tire. Unable to even do a soft lap. That is very unfortunate for Red Bull Racing.
Yep, I mean, as I said earlier, El Capitan very good in the wet, so we'll see what he can do.
Dun 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 da 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 dun dun da dun 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 dun.
Both are P and
Oh, you just need a
Q3.
recorder. As he plays the music, we are into Q3, so we'll have to see what happens here. Should be an interesting one. Revis Island going out first, then Sohan Matthew.
That's actually true. That probably wasn't a smart idea. Oh, shit.
What wasn't a good idea?
Right, claimed for some reason.
Oh
I'll just put the
I
video
bet
in reverse.
You are too. You're gonna get a TMC. Oh.
Oh well, it is what it is. Nobody
F1's
watches
gonna
me,
be
so.
like-
All
we're
right,
gonna, like, we're gonna
everybody, welcome in here. Save 6 Racing League. We are now into Q3 here, as we have 8 of the 10 drivers currently on the track. The only 2 not, Hash and Purple Catfish, staying in the pits. Probably only 1 new set of softs left. They're just going to hang out in the pits and try to do their hot lap attempt at the death of it when the track is at its best. Vapor Hayden, Walker, Merrick, Knowing Light, Revis Island, Cobalt, Sohan Matthew, and Granny Boy all out on track right now. Mooks, who is your prediction for pole for this Spanish Grand Prix?
I mean, it's got to be Granny Boy. He's dominated so far this season, and we'll have to see if he can continue that.
Well, a bold prediction there from Mooks. I'm going to go with Walker in the Williams. Comeback performance, trying to make the most, trying to prove that he belongs, trying to show that without his connection issues, as he should have won a couple, unfortunate connection issues did bring us a little bit of excitement, but we are on board right now with Vapor Hayden. We'll see what he can do here. Walker up ahead of him, along with Sohan Matthew. Hopefully no issues from the drivers ahead slowing him down. Trying to probably get a little bit of slipstream. Pretty close so far. Hayden taking the nice tighter line. Coming down through the long turn 4 of Repsol.
Nice
Ferrari is closing in just a bit to the front of him. That is a good sign for Hayden. That means he is going faster than the Ferrari. But the Ferrari may be holding him up as well, causing a little bit of loss of downforces. Probably a little closer than he wants him to be right now.
Yep, definitely. We'll see if it'll, on the straights, it'll be helpful or hinder.
As Hayden coming through the final sector, we'll be able to see Walker, Sohan, and Hayden's time all pop up in a row here, assuming they did not DSQ. Revis going fastest with a 1:16.0. Walker, though, with a 1:14.4. Holy cow, he absolutely smokes Revis. Hayden with a 1:16.2. And Cobalt with a 1:15.7. Walker, though, and Granny Boy with a 1:14.8. Just about a 1:14.9. Walker currently faster. They both have one more hot lap attempt here on a new set of soft tires to battle it out for pole position in the rain that we are predicting for the race tomorrow. It may change, very unlikely, but Vapor Hayden currently with the slowest time of the bunch, a 1:16.2. Just waiting for other drivers to be setting laps here. Hash with a pretty good lap so far. I believe he should jump Hayden here. And he comes across the line. It's a 1:15.9 from Hash. Revis Island, I thought that was a decent time, but it is apparently not. Very good quick group of people here. Merrick has spun out at the start of Sector 2. Getting back on track. He's going to have one more chance here at a hot lap. Most people should be on their in-laps going into the pits here. Sohan Matthew cutting across the circuit, or as long as he's not getting any way, I can't see much issue with that. But all the drivers, I believe, should be coming to the pits here. Merrick would be the only one that I could see potentially going out, trying to do another lap, but those tires are going to be very warm right now.
Yeah, I'd think he'd come in, try to put on another set of tires, and just go for another lap, because if he does do another one, he's going to be tight on time.
That's the risk you take, though, when you spin out and you have issues. You sometimes, and he definitely is pitting here.
Oh, yeah.
As he cuts the corner pretty aggressively there. Currently, Catfish coming back to the pits and Hash coming back to the pits, and we have all the drivers back in the pits at the moment. Revis was the first out. Let's see if he's the first back out of the pits. And he is the Haas of Merrick right behind him. It's like Felipe Nasser and Felipe Massa. They all both sound exactly the same. as you try to say them quickly.
You has to be kidding me.
Oh, Revis Island cutting some corners. He may be trying to get 3 hot laps in here. We'll have to see if we can get some time penalties on him after the race for this corner cutting in qualifying. We'll keep an eye on him here, so that way people can file disputes for him not following the correct circuit.
Commentator's bias?
I mean, Revis Island is my brother. He is racing, but that's why we want to see him fail.
Naughty corner cutting.
Yep, I think you should file a dispute. Definitely file a dispute.
So, confirmed AT is a terrible brother, and I feel very bad for Revis. But in other word news, Vapor Hayden has retired. Don't know if you pointed that out, but
oh no, we didn't catch that. 3 milliseconds behind Purple Catfish. Don't know what's going on with Hayden recently. He really has been out of it. I don't know if he's sick or just not feeling it right now. But Hayden definitely has not been holding it up as well as he did last year.
Or just drunk. I wouldn't be surprised.
Revis Island, though, starting his hot lap attempt. This is one of his favorite circuits, as we talked to him in the pre-race interviews. Definitely loves the circuit, feels he has very good pace. Was pretty upset to hear that it might be raining, that we have a storm coming in for the race. But we'll watch Revis here. Coming through the turn where Rosberg and Hamilton had a moment back in 2014.
Nice. Good memory.
Revis, though, on a pretty good lap so far. Doesn't seem to be any real major issues. Goes probably a little bit wider than he wants to there. As he comes through the fast right-hander almost flat out. Probably just downshift and upshift real quick just to get the car rotated around. Coming in down. Oh, it's only a 50. He is currently 2/10 down his fastest lap. I'm going to assume he probably might pit. I would say he's probably pitting here. Definitely not going to be beating his previous fastest lap. But he is staying on the track. I'd imagine he'd be corner cutting if he wasn't going to be going. And he does go into the pits, actually. I kind of expected that, seeing his delta times. Connor, though, currently 1/10 up on his fastest lap through Sector 1. Granny Boy on a hot lap as well right now. We can hop on board with him. Oh, he is 3.5 tenths up at the end of Sector 2, but he's coming to the line here. Will it be fast enough to beat Walker? Oh, and it is! 8 milliseconds faster! Granny Boy snatches away pole position from Walker. Holy cow, we hopped on at the perfect moment there. Granny Boy steals away pole. We'll have to see if Walker is going to try to come back out and beat that time. Still in the pits, will have time to come out and set another lap attempt. But Walker and Granny Boy just on another level here right now. As Knowing Light comes through the final turn. He looks like he might be improving, but no, he's not. 2/10 down. Messed up somewhere there in Sector 3. 4th place currently for Knowing Light. A second row lockout right now for the Racing Points. As Hash is on an out lap, but Purple Catfish is on a hot lap. 0.02 of a second faster through Sector 1 for the AlphaTauri team. He's had a decent season so far, has Catfish. P6 to start the season, P10 in Zandvoort. The middle, not as happy, a point in there, but a DNF as well. Hopefully he keeps up the Zandvoort times as he slows down. Catfish is slowing down. He may be trying to go for another hot lap attempt here. Currently not fast enough, though, as Walker still remains in the pits. I don't know if he's going to be coming out for another lap. It's hard to see the Williams garage. I don't see any movement down by it, though, right now. As Hash is on a hot lap, 0.08 of a second down on his fastest lap right now. And now he's 0.2 faster than his fastest lap. Currently going to be moving up to P3 if he can maintain that pace through the final sector here. We'll have to see if he kept some life in these tires for the final turns. Very slow, a lot of traction. does it pretty well, drifts a little wide, just where you want to be to get the power down as quick as you can through the right-hander. Where's it going to be? It's P3 for Hash. P3, he bumps down both of the Racing Point positions down. Walker, though, is out on an out lap. We will get to see him on a pole position lap as Cobalt starts his fastest lap right here, right now. This is where you make your money. You put a lap together here, it can mean so much more for the race, especially in wet conditions. Very tricky to be able to see through the rain with the spray of these cars. The wet tires moving approximately 200 liters of water per second. They are able to disperse, I guess is what I want to say. 200 liters of water per second. So just imagine squeezing 200 liters of water. You can picture a 2-liter bottle of soda. Just that much, 100 of those bottles, these cars are moving per second with how fast the tires move and how the grooves are built on these cars. Very impressive. Cobalt currently 2/10 up on his fastest lap. We'll watch the end of his lap, and then we will go hop over to Walker to see how he is doing on his lap, see if he has a chance to beat Granny Boy. Cobalt, though, currently is on pace to beat Cobalt, or to beat Hash. After Hash set a really good time under pressure, can Cobalt come back and match him and get up to P3?
Walker is down on his time, and he is spun.
It's not fast enough. Walker, pushing his car to the limits, has spun out. So I believe Granny Boy will be getting a pole position. Rivas currently 2/10 down on his fastest lap. Rivas Island having an absolutely shocking Q3 so far. Definitely not where he hoped to be.
Not bad.
It for Rivas. No, wait, he's back. That was just lag. He's still on track. Spike? Holy cow, he's still going. Can he go faster?
Oh my
600ths of a second up. He's going to have to try to beat Knowing Light. He's going to have to have a really good last sector. He can beat Knowing Light. I don't think he's going to be able to catch Cobalt here. But if he can nail these last couple turns here, he will be able to get up to 5th position. Definitely would rather be on the outside of this track than the inside through the first turn. You have a lot more runoff room. As he comes through the final turn, will it be fast enough for Rivas Island across the line? I couldn't see, but I think it was. It is! P5 for Rivas Island. Splitting the Racing Points. And Granny Boy, though, setting an absolutely flying lap. 8 milliseconds faster than Walker. And Hash in P3, one of the new full-time drivers, made his debut in Zandvoort with a great performance, just lagging out. And now capitalizing here at Spain, starting in P3. But we will get to see a little bit of rain racing.
Yeah, but AT, I think you have to say something. I do believe Cranty Boy is in first.
Okay.
Yep. And we did make some predictions, right? I do remember some predictions. Oh, your memory's terrible. Okay, I think I'm lagging.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in here to round 6 of the Savior 6 Racing League here at the Spanish Grand Prix, the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. You wouldn't guess it by seeing the rain, but it is a very wet circuit here today. Hola, buenas noches, amigos. Waiting for the session to start. Definitely going to be some strategy involved here of when you're going to be pitting, what tires, if it's going to be raining the entire time or it will lighten up. I believe it is a monsoon-like condition. Don't believe it will be lighting up. I believe it will be a very, very wet track here. As we see the field forming, as they take away from the grid, most drivers here, I believe every driver, is on the wet tire. As you already see the drivers just trying to get away from the grid, they are already struggling on traction. Holy cow, this is very, very close as Prince and Knight do collide here on the start. Didn't quite catch that as we're watching the lead cars get away here. But Granny Boy on pole position leads away from the field. Walker in P2. Everybody on the wets. Walker back in the Williams seat as a full-time driver here. Hash, the full-time Renault driver, trying to capitalize on his amazing performance and bring it to the finish line this time, starting in P3. Cobalt in P4 for the Racing Point. Revis Island up in P5. Knowing Light, P6, right behind his teammate in line. Purple Catfish in P7 for the AlphaTauri team. He's been bringing it recently. Vapor Hayden, after a poor Q3, is in P8. Sohan Matthew leading the Ferraris in P9. Merrick down in P10. And then a lot of DSQs. Night Katsu, Ricky Star, Prince, and Chief Chris all DSQ'd. Going to have very cold tires at the start. As you can see, the predictive pit stop strategy is a one-stop race here. The wet tires can go about 20 laps or so it should be plenty for this race here. El Capitano starting in 15th for the Red Bull. Brogan Morris down in 16th for the Haas team. Tiburon James in 17th. And then RB Draco and KTJR starting from the back of the field. As Brogan Morris has left the session, we'll try to get him invited in here before it's too late. But we'll try to keep an eye on that, make sure nobody is leaving the session, make sure people are able to race here. We don't want to see anything poor, but Granny Boy taking the P1 position as we wait for Tiburon James to close in here from the back of the grid. The final car that will need to take his spot on the circuit. Taking his spot through a couple of cars of traffic. As Brogan Morris has rejoined. Granny Boy, though, sits and waits for the lights. One, two, three, 4, 5 lights. And go! It's a wet start. Everybody's sliding around from side to side. A call. One of the Haas's stalling out on the grid, not moving. But Granny Boy is on the outside. Walker gets a very good start, though. Goes down the inside, and he's got to make the move on Granny Boy. No! He takes it a little bit tight, and he ends up spinning out. Not spinning, but clipping the grass and losing a lot of pace there. Some of the drivers behind not getting as good of a start. Very tricky and packed back here. So we watch some of the drivers try to get away clean. So far, no incidents. It looks pretty clean so far. Coming through the, oh my goodness, this is very tight, very cleared racing here. Through the wet conditions, you can barely see anything. Weren't expecting this here in Spain. Purple Catfish down 2 positions at the start. Merrick, though, making his name up 2 positions at the start. Gaining spots at every start of the race, it seems. So far, pretty clean throughout. Walker, though, right behind Granny Boy. Granny Boy was able to maintain the lead. Knowing Light, able to overtake Rivas at the start, and Hayden is up into 7th after that start. Everybody appears to still be running at the moment. Granny Boy leading the field away through the first lap so far. As there's a yellow flag in Sector 2. Who is it? And it's Catfish. I didn't see what happened. Was he spun there? Oh my goodness. Oh, Catfish once again getting the absolutely unfortunate break. No safety car, no VSC. Hopefully his wing is fine. I saw a little bit of wing there, whether it was for him or somebody else. But Granny Boy leads away from the field after lap 1 here at the Spanish Grand Prix. Night Katzy into the pits. It must have been his wing damage there. Mooks.
Yeah, I did see that it was his wing. I was waiting for you to intro me, but I guess that's not happening. Yeah, I'm here too. I was here for the Vietnam Grand Prix as well. You may know me from that, and I got P6 in China. So, yeah. Yeah, well, AT, it's a pleasure to work alongside you again here today.
Very, very, very interesting race so far here. Yes, we were introduced to you in qualifying. But apparently I was supposed to introduce you again. But Merrick is currently up to P8. Couple drivers moving up due to some pit stops from previous following drivers. Knight Catsy, though, getting off worse for wear, down 20 seconds at the back, having to pit onto new wets when one stop here. If there's no safety car, which I'd imagine we'd have a safety car here in the rain, but no safety car, that's going to be really big trouble there, having to do an extra pit stop for the Mercedes of Knight Catsy after a very poor Q2 from both the Mercedes drivers. So we watched Knowing Light closing in on the back of Hash here. No DRS is going to be available, so it's going to be all trying to manage that overtake. Shouldn't be using a lot of it. It's going to be very hard to get power down with the overtake button engaged. You're definitely going to be very easy to lose the car here in these tricky, very wet conditions.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be a lot of using the overtake as you're, you know, at your max speed just to get that little bit more.
Yeah, there was probably only one really good overtaking spot at the end of that front straightaway. It's going to be very hard to try to go down the inside to people through turns here. As the dry line will start to slowly form, as you can already see it with the drivers coming around, putting down the power here. As we talked about how much water they can move. Very hard to get some overtakes done here offline. You'll have lots of puddling. Very easy to hydroplane the cars as well. But Knowing Light currently all over the back of Hash trying to find a way past. But as we said, it's going to be extremely difficult here to see much of any overtaking unless the driver in front makes a pretty big mistake. Connor, though, trying to close.
Hopefully we see some desperation dives into T1 just to spice up this race.
Never want to see anybody getting in incidents, so really don't hope for that. But Draco down the inside, he goes on the move on KTR, almost gets it done a little bit wide, and KTJR is going to get the position back in the Williams on his debut. Both drivers very close, really struggling here through the rain of Sector 3. It's going to be very tight racing throughout. Can he hold the position? He's going to hold it for the time being as they come to the front straight. He's going to try to get a better run here as Draco. Oh, and he downshifts. Oh, man, that didn't sound good. Oh, and he almost loses the car. Oh, that's going to get KTJR a little bit of breathing room here. Holy cow, that was extremely close. Catfish trying to battle back down in 18th position as Granny Boy is currently opened up a 1.6 second gap on Walker, who's opened up a 2 second gap on Cobalt, opening up a almost 7 second gap to Hash, as the top 3 of drivers in the league so far have already started to pull away from the field. With Hash holding up Knowing Light, Revis, Vapor Hayden, Merrick, all within 1 second of the Renault driver in 4th position. That's a 3-second time penalty for Hayden, already with a 3-second time penalty. Let's hope he doesn't get DSQ'd. Let's hope he can get through the race and finish it, get some solid points for Alfa Romeo. Only have 1 points performance on the year from a P5 in Vietnam from Hayden. Other than that, neither Alfa Romeo driver has finished in the points this year. And only 1 car here performing today after the 1 car was unable to be reconstructed in time for qualifying or practice and is unable to participate here today in the race.
Yeah, very much a shame.
Revis Island starting to close in on the back of Knowing Light, using some overtake here. Both drivers using overtake. Oh my, it's going to be very easy though. You won't be able to use a lot of the ERS. So the drivers should be able to recover it pretty quickly here, not losing much per lap compared to normal conditions. Normally also a track one of the easier tracks to recover your ERS here from on here. As we get a yellow flag towards the start of the lap, but it looks pretty clear so far.
Yep.
Merrick only 4 seconds behind Hayden right now, who is definitely struggling. Maybe they can start making a run, but Hash is currently 10 seconds already behind Cobalt. He is definitely holding up this group, but it's almost impossible to get by here. In the dry conditions, it's almost impossible. So in the wet, Nolan, like, an absolute mission to make that happen. Hayden closing in on the back of Revis right now. 3 seconds behind. It's just a massive train at the moment. Capitano actually might be going for a move right now. He's side by side with the Mercedes of Ricky Star. He's going to try to go down the inside. Ricky Star on the outside trying to hold the line, and Ricky Star is going to save the position, getting the move done, getting the better traction on the racing line. He's able to hold off El Capitano for the moment as KTJR has spun and retired from the session. It's a virtual safety car. Don't believe any of the drivers should need to pit here. Tires should be pretty good so far for most drivers. We'll have to see if anybody goes into the pits. If anybody has minor wing damage, this would be the ideal time to be going for it. As Hayden with a 5-second time penalty for severe collision with Merrick. Both drivers getting time penalties now. Hayden getting another 5 seconds. 13 seconds of time penalties right now for Hayden. 5 seconds of penalties for Merrick. RB Draco gets a drive-through for speeding under the safety car, along with Knight Catsy with the drive-through. Already adding to his list of woes in this race. Merrick has dropped way back, and Hayden has retired from the session. Not quite sure what happened there. We turned on late. Looked like the drivers were battling a little bit under the virtual safety car, as Merrick is now with a 5-second penalty back in 12th position. Catsy heading to do a drive-through. Draco needing to do a drive-through. But Granny Boy currently with a 1.6 second gap to Walker. Walker able to close in a little bit under that VSC, pushing the limits just a bit, trying to close in the ground. Knowing Light currently all over the back of Hash. Rivas over a second behind Connor. So this could be his chance to try to attack without having to worry about defending from Rivas. Oh, and they hits the back, and Connor spins it. He hit the back of the Renault. Under braking, he braked a little bit too late. He's lost the car, able to maintain 6th position for the moment. With the Ferraris, though, closing on the back of him. I didn't see any wing damage from Connor there, but closing on the back of the Renault the entire time. And there's another yellow flag in Sector 3. I'm not sure what it was, as Hayden has now left the session. Merrick all the way down to 15th behind his teammate of Brogan.
Yeah, not sure what's up with Merrick. I've been trying to keep tabs on him, but it looks like his tires are just done or something. He just keeps letting everyone through, going wide. He might have to actually probably has wing damage.
Oh, and he breaks his tire off! And it's a VSC as it puts him back into the middle of the circuit after he crashes in the pit lane. You can see his tire on screen in the pit lane, but his car is not there. And Knight Catsy's going to take this time to try to go serve his time penalty, I guess, of some sort. Not going to be able to serve a drive-through into VSC, so he's going to try to change his tires here. Maybe has some wing damage. No wing damage, no wing change. So we'll have to see here. Maybe putting on the inters, but it appears to be full wets. Tires should still have a decent amount of life left in them. So currently have large gaps throughout the field. Our closest runner right now is Capitano to the back of Ricky Star. Under the VSC, we'll have to see. Capitano better be paying attention to the Delta. He seems to be closing in quite a bit on Ricky Star, so we don't want to be getting a drive-through penalty here. You can ill afford that, as you cannot service your car whatsoever, and you have to do it under green flag running your drive-through penalty. Basically a guaranteed 20-second loss as Capitano gets down there on the outside. Did he get a penalty? He tried to make the move. He got there. Oh, he timed it absolutely perfectly to get past Ricky Star. That was so close. Ricky Star having to stamp on the brakes, probably getting close to his Delta, and Capitano able to take advantage, time up the safety car release, the virtual safety car release absolutely perfectly, stealing 10th position away from the Mercedes driver. Ricky Star going to be trying to fight back, but again, it's going to be very hard without DRS here. These cars equal performance in the rain. It's going to be very, very exciting to see if anybody can get a move done, but very, very difficult. As Brogan Morris on the back of Tiburon James through the final corner. See, when he opens up the ERS, as all the drivers appear to have already covered all of their ERS under the VSC. Brogan using his overtake here. He's going to be trying to attack, going out of the slipstream just so he can try to see a braking point. It's very hard to find anything on this track, as you can barely see the car ahead, as Merrick has left the session.
Merrick
a
can
DNF.
go fucks himself. Watch next week at Monaco. He ain't surviving.
And we have some words from, I believe, Hayden. Definitely not going to want to say them. Definitely going to want to think about those words again. May need to put a race ban out, because we don't want to hear things like that. You can't threaten violence on the track. Definitely not something we want to see here. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Mooks, but even if Merrick did do something poor, we'll solve it with the stewards. No point in inciting violence on the track, inciting collisions.
He's British, so I think he's just, that's how they talk apparently, according to Knowing Light. I was talking to him earlier, and apparently they swear a lot, so that may just be him expressing himself. But yeah, not the way that you want to be expressing yourself.
No. Definitely, hopefully just some frustration boiling over. But if we do see an incident in Monaco, it will be very severely punished. Especially since it sounds like it would be premeditated, and we have evidence of it. Definitely don't want that, though, in the circuit. But Capitano, as Mook said earlier, definitely one of the drivers that is known to be good in the rain here. Coming up on the back of Prince, is he going to go for the move around the outside of the long turn 3? He's going to try to go outside of him. He's not going to be able to get it done. He's going to try to go in for the switchback on Prince. Going to try to outbrake him here. Can he do it through turn 4? No, he can't. He's just going to try to hang on the back, try to put the pressure on Prince. Prince running a little bit wide. Capitano, and Cobalt gets a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. Wet conditions, very hard to keep it in line on the circuit. But Ricky Star is all over the back of Capitano. Prince is under a lot of pressure from the two of them right now. The Red Bull and the Mercedes trying to get past the Renault, trying to find a spot, but it's very difficult to even see the track, much less find a spot to overtake somebody. Here they come down through where that first DRS zone would be. Oh my goodness. Capitano trying to make a move, still unable to get it done. Just got to watch your wing here, as we saw. If you go a little bit too deep, the drivers ahead may brake a little bit earlier. You got to try to react to them. So just make sure you're very careful in your driving here. Capitano getting a pretty decent exit. Both drivers turning on the overtake once they get the traction down. They're both going to probably have a lot of overtake here. Capitano keeping his on for the time being. I don't think he's going to be able to get the move done, though. Prince timing it absolutely beautifully in saving that ERS. Revis Island, though, closing on the back of Hash, still unable to get a move done. Everybody's just kind of stuck. It's very hard to, as we said, get the overtakes done. Capitano trying to set up the switchback, but he almost loses the car turning in. His car just about saved it. Prince, the Renault drivers, though, both currently holding up a major portion of the field. Rivas being held up by Hash, Capitano and Ricky Star being held up by Prince. But they know exactly what they're doing, had decent qualifying performances, and just hold your station. Like they know, it's very hard to overtake in the rain. The spray all over the front of your car. You can barely see the car in front. That's why they have that flashing light flashing, normally meaning recovering ERS. In this condition, it is a safety factor, so you can see the car in front, even through the spray. At least you have something to spot, as the cars do not have brake lights. So you have to try to read the car ahead. Very hard to do sometimes. And Capitano much, much closer this time to the back of Prince. Both drivers opening up the overtake. Can Capitano use the slipstream down the front stretch here? Will he be able to get a move done? He's not closing in as fast as he would like to be. It appears Capitano may have a little bit more downforce than Prince does. Prince may have gone with a slightly hybrid setup, as Walker now gets a 3-second penalty. It's probably the opposite of what we wanted to see. We want to see Granny Boy getting the penalty. Walker have a chance. Walker, though, 3.4 behind. It's Capitano trying to hang on to the back of Prince here. One of probably our best battle on track right now. All over the back of him. He's almost pushing him through the corner. That's how close he is right now. He's going to try to go. Oh, he keeps trying for the switchback. He's maybe going to get the power down here. He loses a little bit. As you can see, side to side trying to get the power down. And he's not able to get the move done yet. Currently not a lot of movement throughout the field right now.
No, lots of battles, just no movement.
Just trying to follow the driver ahead, waiting for them to make a mistake. Capitano, though, might go for a move right here, right now. He's going to go down the inside of Prince, and he's going to make it stick. He gets the move done. Gonna have the inside line here. He loses it just a bit. And Prince, very cautious there, making sure not damage his wing. Capitano might have snapped back with oversteer there right in front of him. Prince, very cautious, though, able to make sure he avoids any collision there. Very good driving between the two of them. Capitano finally gets by. Let's see what kind of pace he has. 8 seconds behind the Ferraris ahead of him. Hash is currently starting to pull ahead of Ferribus, though, right now. Hash might be starting to find his pace. We'll see if Prince can do the same in his Renault. Ricky Star closing on the back of Prince. Ricky Star not going to go for the move there. He might look like he might go for the dive bomb, but smart driving from the Mercedes. You just want to try to keep your car clean here. An extra pit stop is deadly here, especially without safety car. Catfish closing on the back of Brogan Morris, battling back after that first lap incident. Up to P13 right now, and on the back of Brogan Morris, we have Ricky Star. A couple battles here, but it's going to be very tricky to find the overtaking position. Sohan Matthew all over the back of Knowing Light in the Ferrari with his teammate right behind him as well. Don't want to see any Ferrari on Ferrari violence here. That's for damn sure.
Oh, definitely not.
But both of them usually pretty good teammates throughout the season. Trying to see if Catfish has any wing damage. It looks like he might have some right front wing damage. No, it's pretty clear. Maybe a little bit of front left wing damage. Yellow flag in sector 3. I don't see. Oh, and Ricky Star has spun out. Ricky Star has lost it on the back of Prince. I don't know if there was contact there, but Mercedes having an absolutely abysmal event here today. Currently P3 in the Constructors Championships with 54 points. It looks like they may be falling down, though, a little bit into the battle between 4th and 7th. We'll have to see if one of them can make a comeback drive here, but Ricky Star, not with what he wanted there, spinning out through Sector 3 after trying to follow Prince very, very closely. We'll hop back up here, though. Rivas has closed back in on Hash, only 4/10 behind him. With the Ferraris stuck behind Knowing Light. Knowing Light 5 seconds now behind Rivas. He's losing a little bit of ground. Whether he has a wet setup or a dry setup, we don't know, because qualifying was in the dry, and that is one of the ideal things here. As we said before multiple times, very, very difficult track to overtake on here. About 18 seconds time loss with a pit stop here. So the leaders already with a gap to Hash will be able to pit and get out clean without worrying about being overtaken by Hash. We'll be close for Cobalt, but Granny Boy and Walker will be able to get out pretty clean ahead, as Sohan Matthew is all over the back of Knowing Light. He was touching his wing to his rear tire right there. Good to not have an incident, see one of them spin out, as Knowing Light drifts a little bit wide, gets a 3-second penalty. Sohan Matthew trying to put all sorts of pressure under Knowing Light as Chris is pushing. Oh my goodness, the Ferrari's oh so close. Catfish still trying to chase down Brogan as well. Still 4/10 behind the Hotz driver. I don't believe we've had any pit stops yet. All the drivers. Knight Catsy with 2 stops. Tiburon James with 1 stop. Tiburon James, most recent, stopping onto the wets, maybe going with a 2-stop strategy. But you can get the wets if you pit now to the end. So it might be a good idea potentially for somebody to try to go for an undercut attempt maybe. Get onto new wets, try to get that grip, see how long the wet lasts. Maybe it starts drying up towards the end. We'll have to see.
I mean, we've seen that it's very difficult to overtake, so I think it would be worth it for a few people such as like Rivas. He still lost so much time to Vapor Cobalt. Just try to get past Hash and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a good idea. Or one of the Ferraris, just to go to the counter strategy of Knowing Light. Only one racing point and 2 Ferraris. Try to go one of you with the counter strategy and try to take advantage. If it doesn't work, at least you have the other car there to try to still chase down. But they're both being held up by Knowing Light right now, slowly falling away from Rivas as well. We'll have to see anybody going into the pits here. No pit stops yet. It'll be interesting to see if Rivas is going to try to go for an overcut or an undercut, or Sohan, or any of these drivers trying to chase down the driver ahead. Catfish all over the back of Brogan here. Brogan is actually running out of ERS. That's very impressive around this circuit in the rain. As every other driver has about 80% ERS. Brogan is almost out right now, down to 3% ERS. But he gains so much back throughout the track as long as he has enough through that first long straightaway. That's really the only real solid overtaking opportunity for people. And without DRS, it's nil on, impossible. Very boring race so far, though, I'd have to say overall. But some close racing, a couple mistakes from drivers behind just trying to follow. Really, Capitano seems to be the only guy out there trying to making some moves. Already has gained 5.5 seconds on Prince. 3 seconds he's gained on the Ferraris themselves. Was 8 seconds behind after he first got past Prince. So he is slowly closing in as we hop on board right as he gets a time penalty. Oh, what luck. The announcer's curse. We hopped on board knowing he gets a penalty. Hop on board with Capitano. He gets a penalty. As Walker is into the pits, as Walker going for that bold undercut strategy here. We'll have to see if one of the drivers here goes for it. Hash and Rivas having a collision in Zandervoort going into the pits. As neither driver goes in yet, they'll have to be very careful going into the pits. As Hash hit the back of Rivas under braking going into the pits there. Neither Ferrari going into the pits as well. So currently Walker, the only guy to pit right now. So the pit window, as you see on your screen for the one stop, is open right now. Currently though, nobody really making any moves. We'll see. Hop on back on board with Catfish here as Brogan has the his car recovers just enough overtake to get him all the way down this front straightaway, and it doesn't let Catfish do anything. It's very unfortunate for the AlphaTauri. I'd love to see Catfish get some clean air, see if he can catch up to Prince Capitano. He's had a very, very unfortunate start, but he's been solid throughout the weekend. Solid last week. Would love to see him get some solid points and capitalize on that performance. Sohan Matthew, though, really just a few battles going on around track. As Catfish, they always close up to within a tenth of a second there going into turn 4. Just not able to find a spot to get the move done. Oh my goodness. He's bumping Brogan Morris. He's so close. Brogan Morris can probably spit on him if he wanted to. As we'll hop back up front, see if any drivers are pitting. Cobalt has now pit. Walker, 25 seconds behind Granny Boy. We'll have to see if he can close that gap down. And Rivas is going to go into the pits here as Hash stays going. We'll have to watch if Rivas can get this undercut done. He doesn't want to get speeding. Looks like he got him pretty safely there. Knowing Light pits, Sohan pits. And Chief Chris stays out, so Chief Chris is going for the overcut attempt as his teammate follows Connor into the pits there. Rivas Island coming out. We'll have to stay on board with Rivas and Chief Chris and see who can get the faster lap done. We'll ride on board with Chief Chris. He's going to be going into the pits here shortly on this next lap. I would imagine he would be here. Catfish going to be moving up the field. Up into 8th position right now for Catfish. Finally getting ahead. He's going for an overcut attempt as well. Hash and Chris are probably pitting on this next lap. Walker not really closing up enough of a gap to Granny Boy. Granny Boy should get out ahead. Assuming he doesn't get a speeding into pit lane and the pit crew is ready for him. Excuse me about that, Mooks. A little bit of the hiccups there.
All good.
I don't think many people are going to be watching this race to begin with. Definitely not one of the more exciting. It's definitely different with the rain, but probably not something we really want to see too much around here. No. As Walker does everything he possibly can, goes fastest overall, but he's still not going to be able to catch Granny Boy. He's 4.5 behind. He's going to have to hope Granny Boy gets some penalties here. As Hash is going into the pits here now. Chris, I believe, following shortly behind. Let's watch, see if he goes into the pits here. And then it's Capitano and Rivas trying to overtake Hash. Chief Chris into the pits. Taking it easy. Not pushing the limits. And we'll hop on board here with Rivas. See if he can get out ahead of Hash. Hash leaving the pits right now. Don't know where Rivas is. Can't see him right now. Rivas coming down the straight. Looks like he's going to be at a massive overcut. He's gained 2-3 seconds on the Hash of the Renault. What a lap by Rivas there to get ahead. And Chief Chris is not going to get. So the overcut is absolutely massive right now. Sohan Matthew got past Knowing Light somehow too. I didn't even see how that happened, if that was going into the pits or a wing change or what. But Sohan has gotten ahead of Knowing Light now. Revis is ahead of Hash. And then Purple Catfish is just behind Brogan Morris. Unable to get it done on the overcut attempt there. The undercut, though, much more powerful, as you can see, with the tires. The new rubber absolutely helping a treat here. It's a lot easier. The more rubber you have, the easier it is to keep that temperature in the tire. It's hard to get it in, but once you get it there, it's easy to keep it. As their tires get older, it's a lot harder to keep those tires warm, keep the grip in them, especially in these wet conditions. Catfish, though, currently the only driver, and Catfish and Brogan currently only drivers, within 1 second of each other at the moment. So we'll hop on board with the two of them here for a little bit. We haven't even seen the leaders like all race since lap 1, as they've just been in their own little territory there. If Granny Boy had the penalty, we'd be trying to keep track of Walker, but all three of the drivers out front currently pulling ahead. Revis gaining 7/10 that lap, so it looks like he might be pulling ahead of Hash. But Purple Catfish is just all over Brogan. He's unable to get a move done, though. He kept about the same space, showing how much pace. He probably has about 2 seconds on Brogan, that means, as we saw all the other undercuts gaining 2 seconds on the driver ahead. But this Brogan pit first and ended up coming out even with Catfish in the end. So Catfish, I would say, has about 2 seconds of pace on Brogan if he can get past. Using all of his overtake. Go for the dive bomb. Go for the dive bomb. Do it! Get the move done! Get him, Catfish! No! He's going to be very safe there. He doesn't want to risk contact. And Catfish is going to hold station. That was probably one of his best attempts yet of the day.
Yeah, trying to bring us action that just isn't happening at the moment.
No, everybody's just trying to keep it clean, keep it safe. Very hard to follow the cars ahead normally, and then add rain into it, and it's even harder. Let's take a look at the penalty situation right now. Currently, Walker and Cobalt with 3-second penalties. Knowing Light with a 3-second penalty in 7th. El Capitano with 3 seconds in 9th. And Night Catsy with 3 seconds in 14th. Everybody, so only 3-second penalties throughout the field. Very good racing so far. We had a couple bigger penalties, but some of those drivers retired. And overall, I mean, even with the rain, very clean race. No safety cars. A couple VSCs, but nothing too major. So we have a yellow flag in Sector 2. I don't know who that is or what happened there.
That is for RV. That is for RV.
RV does appear to have gotten his car going here again, as we just hang on board here with Purple Catfish and just watch him kind of hanging behind Brogan here, as Sohan Matthew is starting to pull ahead of Knowing Light, gaining 2 seconds, and Chief Chris is on the back of Knowing Light. It'd be interesting to see if Sohan would back Knowing Light up into Chris's. Oh, Catfish! Oh my goodness, what a save by the AlphaTauri! He lost it coming out of the final turn, hit the grass a little bit, had a huge tank slapper, and somehow kept it out of the wall. Amazing save by Catfish there. Massive props.
Oh my.
I don't know if you saw
Absolutely
that, Moogs,
nutty.
but that was incredible save. You did lose the position, but it was a absolutely insane save from Catfish. I thought we had a safety car there. I thought I jinxed the race, but Catfish able to somehow save it, as Ricky Star is now going to have a chance to try to attack Brogan. Catfish on the back of Ricky Star, splitting the Mercedes drivers.
I mean, I must say, safety car would not be bad at the moment for our pleasure.
No, definitely would add some excitement. Wouldn't imagine they would see many people pitting. Definitely would tighten everything up here, though.
Yeah, well, if it hasn't been a somber day already, we have news that Hayden has, after his crash, has retained an injury and will have to take the rest of the season off.
That is very unfortunate to hear right now. Alfa Romeo's not performing up to standard. Hayden P2 last year, unable to currently match that this year, and just not able to get it going. Whether it's mental, definitely maybe a breakaway, step away for a little bit will be helpful overall to the team and the driver. Definitely want to see everybody at their best. Don't want to see anybody going through struggles. And if you ever need anything from any of the drivers or anything, we're always here. Try to help everything out. But poor weather, poor news. We'll have to look into that more after the race. Because at the moment, we are being paid to broadcast, but not much to broadcast here at the moment around Spain. So if you want to turn on the PGA Tour, I heard it's a one-stroke lead for Jordan Spieth on the 16th hole. In the bunker, though.
I have a very good feeling that you are watching the PGA Tour at the moment.
Nope, I am just a superstitious man, and I'm good at reading time.
Okay.
Holy cow, this race is honestly, like, I know I'm live streaming and broadcasting this race is so goddamn boring. My God.
Bro,
I didn't even say that the last
bored.
race. Like, it's just, they're just driving behind one another. Nobody can overtake. Because they just get all their overtake back through the turns, and everybody uses full overtake down the straight. Like, there's... Oh, wait. Ricky Star, though, might be proving us wrong. He's all over the back of Brogan. Both of them overtake enabled. But Brogan appears to have a little bit less downforce. He's able to even pull away from the slipstream of Ricky Star. But here comes Ricky Star over the crest of the hill. He's going to try to go down the inside. Can he get the move done? No. And Catfish is going to go for the move now. Catfish taking advantage of the opportunity. Can he make it stick around the outside? No. Ricky Star somehow able to hold position. Brogan going extremely wide there. That's probably the best action we have seen all race. Thank you. Reefus Island currently 30 seconds behind the lead pack. My goodness. Walker 10 seconds behind Granny Boy. Cobalt 13 seconds behind him. Where is Granny Boy in the field? Has he lapped the field yet? How many people has he been able to lap here? Gap to leader. He's only lapped. He's closing in on this battle, actually. Granny Boy, we can see him in the background there. Closing in on this battle between Catfish, Ricky Star, and Brogan. It'd be nice to see if the drivers get out of the way instead of just utilizing the ghosting method, as it would look a lot better, and then we could turn ghosting off. But I doubt it will happen here. Catfish all over the back of Ricky Star here, as Ricky Star is behind Brogan, and nobody can get by anybody right now. Capitano, maybe, actually. Nope, he is still 2 tenths behind Chief Chris as they're going through the turn. Unable to get the move done. Catfish 3 tenths behind Ricky Star. Oh, man. And Monaco is next on the calendar here. We'll be racing there on Thursday at 8. Hopefully some clear weather there, but another very hard track to race on. But yes, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on Thursday, February 18th. Yeah, 18th. Yep. Or 1 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time on Friday, February 19th, for those of you in the UK. Hopefully, a little bit more exciting race in Monaco, but honestly, I'm not going to guarantee anything. Unfortunately, I will not be able to make the race. I will not be able to make that broadcast. But we'll be trying to find somebody to broadcast the race, whether it's Mooks or somebody else. We'll definitely need to try to find somebody. As Draco gets out of the way, very good racing there from the AlphaTauri of Draco, getting out of the way. Even though you know you're ghosted, it's just a lot easier to get out of the way of the drivers ahead. But yeah, we'll be trying to find somebody to broadcast Monaco. But if not, the next time I will see you guys will be round 8 at Baku on Sunday, February 21st, at the same time here as today. And hopefully some clear weather. One of the more exciting tracks. A true street circuit. And just a very fun track overall, I'd say. Definitely looking forward to that one. But after this Spain race, we'll have 3 street circuits in a row. So definitely will be a little bit more tricky and complicated before we start opening up to some of your classic tracks later in the year. Yellow flag in Sector 1. Don't see any issues, just slow-moving drivers, it looks like. Currently, Capitano on the back of Chief Chris still, getting a very good run now to that turn. But Chief Chris takes the defensive line and parks it right in the middle, leaving almost no space for Capitano. He would have had to go onto the curb, and in the wet, you definitely do not want to be touching the curb. Definitely almost a death sentence.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. And we have 8 laps to go right now here in the Spanish Grand Prix. Currently, the biggest movers on the day are Chief Chris and Capitano, both moving up 6 positions throughout the race so far. And that's another 3-second time penalty for Vapor Cobalt. Rivas Island 31 seconds behind that pack. Hash is 5.6, so he's starting to gain a little bit on Rivas. 1 lap, newer tires, is a yellow flag, and it looks like the AlphaTauri of Draco may have spun there. Yes. Well, we'll hop on board with Granny Boy, give him a little bit of screen time here. He's been absolutely dominant. Oh, safety car! Draco has retired from the session, and that's a full course safety car. That is going to bunch everybody up. Cobalt with 6 seconds of time penalties. Rivas with none. Oh, that's very unfortunate for Cobalt, but it's a safety car. A drive-through penalty for knowing light. Oh no, that's going to absolutely destroy his race. Speeding under the safety car for knowing light. He may have fallen asleep driving so repetitively, not being able to do much. He may not even notice there was a safety car, but he gets the drive-through, the racing point. He's going to have to be going. We'll have to see if anybody pits here. I would imagine we'd see Granny Boy pits. But right as we hop on board with Granny Boy, we give him the announcer's curse, and there's a safety car. But the 2 drivers behind do have time penalties. That's the one thing that will work in Granny Boy's advantage, whether he is one warning away from a penalty or not. But we may have a lot of lap traffic mixed in here. We'll have to see if they let them overtake or not, and hopefully no collisions from them.
Oh, I guess we gotta do our jobs now.
Still will be very difficult to overtake. This will probably be your only chance, is on this restart. Yep. Granny Boy is going into the pits here. So it'll be interesting if Walker might have a chance if he stays out, but he does have those time penalties, and I can't imagine he can pull a 3-second gap on Granny Boy on old tires. Unless he can force Granny Boy into a mistake, but the Red Bull here going into the pits. There's a Mercedes in the pits as well we see right now. Granny Boy and the Red Bull pulling out of the pits. Walker into the pits behind him. That looked very close to speeding, but very good at spotting the breaking point from Walker. Cobalt coming around now with Rivas 41 seconds behind. I can't imagine Cobalt would not pit. And Cobalt, oh, he doesn't pit. He looked like he thought about it at the last second. He realized that he should have pit. And he looked like he may have... Oh, that looks like a costly error from Cobalt.
I mean, he does jump Walker. So.
He does jump Walker, but it looked like it wasn't the decision he wanted there. As Catfish gets a corner cutting penalty under the safety car. 15 drivers still alive. As KTJR DNF'd early on in the race. Hayden and Merrick both DNFing after some collisions under the safety car. Under the virtual safety car, actually. This is our first safety car. And then Draco losing it through turn 1 or 2, through turn 2 and 3. And then retiring from the session, whether it was due to a crash or anything of that sort. But bringing out the safety car, obviously not parking his car in a safe location, causing the safety car to come out. And we'll have to see what sort of hoopla happens here on the restart, as they will be very close and it'll be very wet. It's going to be quite a while before some of these cars catch up, as we have cars ahead of the safety car that are still in Sector 3. Oh goodness, this might be a little bit. We might have a 3 or 4 lap here, sprint to the finish. Maybe we'll see the rain clear up too. You never know. Ricky Star going ahead of Granny Boy, almost touching him there. Ricky Star might be trying to go past the safety car. I can't tell what's going on right now. It's very hard to tell from our perspective, but he should be able to pass the safety car. There goes Ricky Star, past the safety car. Nope, and he says he can't. And now Ricky Star has been disqualified from the session for passing the safety car when he should have been allowed to. Oh my goodness, the Mercedes driver doing what he's supposed to do and getting disqualified for it. Currently, only 4 drivers will not be getting points here today. Brogan Morris up into 10th position after going out in Q1, currently with 1 point. We'll have to see who is on the new tires right now, as Chief Chris is on brand new wet tires. Purple Catfish, 1 lap old wets. And then Walker and Granny Boy on new wet tires. The remainder of the field on 8 to 9 lap old wet tires. It's hard to tell if the sun is starting to come out a little. If maybe somebody in the back may be able to go to inters. But it looks pretty heavy so far. Capitano up 7 positions, our biggest mover of the day, in 8th position. All he really needs is some minor points for Red Bull. It's definitely what they need.
I am guessing you guys don't want an interview with me.
Not right now. I'm trying to, this race has already been boring enough. I would interview, but, yeah, not right now. As a lot of drivers currently in the field having time penalties. The only drivers in the top 8 without time penalties, Granny Boy and Revis. Prince in 9th then without a time penalty. That is definitely what he wants to see. Hopefully able to overtake some of these cars. We'll have to see. I don't believe any of the top 10 is a lap down. Only the top 11 all on the lead lap. So it's going to be hard for Knight, Catfish, and Tiburon James to get points out of this. But Chief Chris and Brogan may have a battle towards the end here. But Chief Chris on those newer tires. A 5-second time penalty there for Tiburon James for collision with Catfish. Catfish didn't get a penalty there, but rain all over these cars, all over the circuit. Looks like the field may be starting to slowly get back together here. Maybe we can go green on this lap. Maybe another lap. We'll find out here.
Hopefully.
Night Catsy, it appears, is currently... I don't know what's going on right now.
Did the safety car just come in? I'm so confused.
Oh, the safety car did go in. I didn't even see that. They didn't let the field catch. Holy cow, I completely missed that. So on Matthew all over the back of Hash on the restart. We didn't even see a restart there. Cobalt already opened up a 4-second gap on Revis. So on Matthew riding behind Hash, as Prince is 13 seconds behind Capitano still. They did not let the field completely catch up there. I didn't even notice. I didn't see the safety car coming in. But Granny Boy gets away with a good start. That explains a lot, then, of why they were racing so close. Sorry, folks. We kind of fell apart from this race being a little bit boring. But we got Revis, Hash, and so on Matthew all within almost a second of each other here. As Hash coming down the back of Revis here. Revis trying to open up a gap, but Hash is on slightly newer tires. We'll have to see if he can pull away from him again, or if those tires have started to lose their grip. Some of the leaders already opening gaps on one another there. Cobalt with a 4.3 second gap on Revis. That's the gap he needs. He's gaining just as much as he needs right there. He gained 31 seconds, so I'd imagine he have the pace to get out of that 6-second window. As Revis is our second ahead of Hash. Sohan Matthew 7/10 behind him. And Brogan Morris, Knowing Light is serving his drive-through actually. That is why he's going backwards. Knowing Light serving his drive-through penalty. We'll have to see where he comes out. It's Brogan and Prince coming around the final turn here. Will they get out ahead of Knowing Light? Knowing Light out of the pits. And they are going to, Knowing Light is going to stay ahead of that battle. That would have been heartbreak if Knowing Light had to come up behind them. That would have been very hard for him to get back up to 8th, but should be 8th position for Knowing Light if he can keep it on track. Currently, the gaps have already opened back up, and our only battle is Brogan on Prince here on Knowing Light. Knowing Light's tires may have cooled down just a little bit after that drive-through, not getting to keep the temperature in them. So Prince's one opportunity is probably right here on this lap as Knowing Light cuts the corner a little, but Prince knows that Knowing Light has a penalty, so he may just try to hang out behind him and just keep it safe and easy, not even risking an overtake here. Assuming he can think, as long as he can keep up with him. Granny Boy, though, fastest lap of the race, a 1:28.6 in the wet conditions. Absolutely unbelievable from Granny Boy there. Already 2.2 seconds clear of Walker, 3 seconds clear of Cobalt. Lap traffic getting out of the way there of Tiburon James. Very good driving overall. You love to see the lap cars clearing out of the way. As Brogan is trying to follow Prince here. Going to be using all of his overtake. There it is. Both drivers using all their overtake. She recovered enough throughout the entire lap in the wet to be able to use it again. Down the front stretch once again, and the only overtaking opportunity on the circuit becomes null and void. Mooks, who would you say is your driver of the day here today?
Can we give it to commentators for being able to put up with this?
Well, my driver of the day here today is probably going to be, I would have to say, El Capitano is the obvious choice right now. 8 points, or 8 positions moved up in the points for Red Bull. As he gets another time penalty, as I say, he's driver of the day. I'm really good at this announcer's curse. So we're going to change our driver of the day right now for me to be Brogan Morris. Assuming he can hold his position, he's battling. It's Knowing Light has lost it. That's Brogan. I didn't say Knowing Light, so that wasn't me. Brogan gains a position this time as I talk about him. Up to 9th position, so 2 points for the Haas driver, especially after his teammate Merritt crashes out. That is very good news for Haas, at least to get some points on the board. Coming all the way down after being not even making it through Q1, up 7 positions to 9th. That's an unbelievable performance from Brogan here today. Trying to get his first points of the season.
I mean, to be completely frank with you, I think for me, it's got to be Guarantee Boy. As much as I would love to be able to give it to commentators, because I'd give it to you, AT, for your beautiful voice. I definitely give it to Granny Boy. He's controlled this race. It hasn't looked like it's not his for this all weekend long. He's been just dominant, so I'd have to give it to him.
Yep, he's he dominates mainly every race, so it's kind of that Lewis factor. Do you really want to vote driver of the day for somebody that's winning every race?
Yes, but this is one of the first, Walker hasn't even been close to him. Walker's normally able to give him a fight, and it's just not close, so he's running away even from Walker. And
Walker gaining time right now, closing the gap under 2 seconds at the moment.
We'll see.
Down to 1.8. What, Walker turned it on here, or what's going on? Walker must just have a higher downforce setup, gaining time through that Sector 3. As Granny Boy now pulls ahead through Sector 1, down the long straight. Appears Walker may have set his car up more for high downforce, and Granny Boy more for the low downforce. But one of the things to watch here on the last lap, Cobalt has opened his gap up to 6.2 on Rivas. Rivas may be able to close that gap. I highly doubt it, but if Rivas can close that gap, he can snatch away a podium from Cobalt with that 6 seconds of time penalties. Sohan Matthew trying to slipstream Hash here down the front straightaway. He's going to close in. This is his last chance to probably pass, and he's not going to get it done. Any other battles here? Capitano losing his car just a little bit. As Brogan has been passed by Chief Chris. Brogan losing it a little bit through the final turn. Coming down the straightaway, can he get a better run? Appears Chief Chris is going to get the best run here. Will Brogan go for a dive bomb? Chief Chris moves to the middle, take the defensive line here. As Walker gets another penalty. Unfortunate, pushing to the limits. But we'll hop on board here with Granny Boy through the final sector. He took pole position with an absolutely stunning qualifying lap, beating out Walker by less than a tenth of a second, by less than actually a hundredth of a second, 8 milliseconds total. Granny Boy, he won again in Zandvoort as he comes to the final turn here. The Red Bull driver on the top step for 5 out of 6 races this year as he loses it. That's going to cost Red Bull some money, but it's a good finish. He still counts. Walker across in second position. Cobalt Is he able to maintain the gap to Rivas? It looks like he is. Cobalt looks like he's going to take P3. And Rivas comes across the line. P4 for McLaren as he loses his car. There must be oil on the track. Lots of cars losing it across the line here. Hush is able to hold off Sohan. Capitano in 7th right now. And then 8th place, Prince, 21 seconds behind. So Capitano should be able to maintain that. I can't imagine he had over 21 seconds of time penalties. As Chris on the back of Prince here, the three of them, Prince, Brogan, and Chief Chris, all fighting through the final turns. Prince able to pull it out for the Renault team. 8th position, Chief Chris in 9th, and Brogan coming home with a solid P10. Oh, and he hits the back of the Ferrari. And knowing light, all the way down to 11th. He was up in the points, 5th, 6th position, something like that. And in the end, unable to even get any points to try to help out the rain. Definitely changing it up. Not something we expected here today. It says driver of the day here. Driver of the day in my books. Brogan Boris. Driver of the day in Moose's books. Granny Boy. But we'll leave it up to you to vote on Discord. Make sure you cast your votes. The voting will be open here shortly after the race, hopefully. Or Monday, we will be voting for the drivers of the day. Drivers of the week. So make sure you cast your vote. But Granny Boy, on the top step of the podium, lifts the trophy in Spain. It's all of a sudden sunny. That storm is past. Red Bull, celebrate once again. Mooks, thanks for an amazing day. We're going to try to get some post-race interviews. If you feel like staying, you can stay. If not,
My microphone is dead at the moment, but I will stay for post-race interviews and text you my questions, because I cannot speak them. Just stop the stream and then we can do questions in like an after. Just edit it together, please.
I'm just gonna do the interviews right now. It's fun.
I'm sorry, but that was the most boring race I've ever watched. Was very good.
You gotta try to keep talking, but it's so hard sometimes.
I know. I was trying to, but I was like, I almost fell asleep halfway through that race where like nothing was happening, and I'm like, how did I get through an hour of this? Bro.
Hello?
Hello. I didn't even see you joined.
I did not. Oh.
Alright, let me get it going here.
Oh, fair dues.
And we welcome in Granny Boy here, taking the top step of the podium once again. Did you even feel the champagne up there on the podium today with how wet it was?
Oh, blimey, yeah. I mean, it definitely overpowered it.
Well,
No,
definitely
it was,
an odd sight to see there. How'd you prepare for this race? Did you even have a setup for the wet?
No, I just went straight dry setup. I think I
Alright.
just changed my front wing from a 3 on qualifying and then to the 4 for the race and just went with that. And yeah, it was really good pace today in the wets. Yeah, Walker nearly had me on turn 1. It was a good 50-50. Kept our space and yeah, just carried on going ahead and making the gap and yeah, went for the win.
Yeah, very, very close there on the start. It looked like Walker had the line down the inside. Looked like he had a run. but definitely just left each other enough space there. Looked overall very good. Very dominating performance from the top. All three you on the podium. But did that safety car put a little scare in your mind, or the penalties from Walker kind of made you feel?
Yeah. Obviously, with Walker having a penalty, and then Colbert having the penalties as well. I only had one win in that race, which I felt pretty confident. Don't know why I usually pick up a penalty in this race. A turn usually catches me out, but this time it didn't. I thought it was just more like chilled at the front and just timing the turn-ins and stuff. When the safety car came out, it was more the case if Walker got another good start on the straight, he might have had me again. But I don't know whether if the car behind the Mercedes might have messed up the run for Walker. But it was a good race overall.
No, yeah, great performance. We didn't even catch the restart because we were waiting for the pack to get caught up. But it looks like they just restarted it there because we were watching the track map, and then all of a sudden you guys were through turn 3 battling. I was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, no, it was a good race. Hopefully we don't have that rain in Monaco here.
Oh, blimey, if that rains in Monaco, I think there's going to be a couple of cars finishing. Maybe if that
might set a record.
Yeah, hopefully. It was. I was going to say something else. Congratulations on Walker with his internet. It survived. I'm really happy for him.
Oh yeah, definitely good to see him back in a full-time seat again, back in the Williams. He got his one run like George Russell in the Mercedes, but back at home where he belongs at Williams.
Yeah, definitely. Back at home.
Good sight to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm loving it.
All right. Well, thanks for the time, Granny Boy. You have a good one, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you too.
For the time.
Cheers, Mutz. Thanks, boys. Bye.
But do. All right. If Walker joins, let me know because it doesn't even show up on my thing. Okay. Normally it shows up for me, so that's why I was wondering what's going on.
Walker joined.
I see that. All right. Okay. And joining us now, P2 in the Williams, it's Walker. Great performance. Great seeing you back in the field, back in your car, back at home. What did you think of the day overall? Were you expecting any rain?
Oh, mate, I was gutted that it rained, to be honest. I think I had the pace on Granny in the dry and the practice session we did. But yeah, in the wet, I just couldn't live with him. Just way quicker than me today in the wet. Win some, you lose some.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't like out.
There you go. Exactly. It's a win-win. Hopefully just keep moving up, battling. Can't wait to see you guys battling more and more in the future here.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, what else? You had a really good start. We saw you looked like you had the run on Granny Boy down to turn 1.
I keep having better starts than him in the wet. Like in China, I had an amazing start in the wet.
Yeah.
But yeah, the second phase of the start, he had a bit less wing than me, so he had a bit less drag and just got me.
Yeah, you were catching him through. As we were watching, you always caught him through like sector 3, but then down that long straight, it just seemed like just didn't quite have the pace.
Yeah, bye.
But no, hey, it was good to get you back. Good to see you back out of that Mercedes and back where you belong in the Williams. And can't wait to see you at Monaco. See what you can do.
So mean.
Wicked. Cheers, fellas.
Thanks, Walker. See ya.
GG's.
Cobalt's already offline. I'm just leaving him go. Yeah. I'll send him an invite. Because it says he's at Blast Online 2 days ago, so he may have just never logged on. Or he may be appearing off. Alright, let's add him real quick. See if he wants to say anything. And P3 here today had to battle it out there after the safety car to make sure he got the gap he needed. Able to get it done in the end. Pretty dominating, though, for most of the race. Hanging out with Granny Boy and Walker up in the front. It's Cobalt. How'd you feel today? Were you expecting any rain in Spain?
All I was expecting was pain. I was actually not gonna lie to you, was contemplating if I really wanted to race in Spain. I was like,
And then you saw the rain and you were like, oh yes, I definitely do now.
When as soon as I saw rain, I'm like, oh, well, let's just get a what setup real fast, because the game reset all my setups and everything, so I have no setups. Well, I have
really?
my Spain setup, but I have no. I deleted all my saves and everything, but
Jesus.
it was a decent race, but just boring. Just
Oh
like
yeah.
everyone's- Just,
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
the gaps were too big. Man.
Yeah, it was pretty boring from the broadcast. Like nobody, you can't really make a move on anybody. So
No, it's just that there's a wide skill gap between me, Granny Boy, and Walker. They're just up there. I'm just chilling at 50 seconds, and then everyone else behind me is at 30 seconds. And I saw the safety car, I'm like, oh. Because at that point, when I had the 30 seconds, I was just driving carelessly. I was getting.
I figured you. Yeah,
like,
we were thinking you might pit and just go for fast lap or something.
I was tempted to. I was like, shit. I'm like, I'm just gonna chill. I'm like, oh, I got 6 seconds. All right, I got 30 seconds. It doesn't really matter.
We did see the on the safety car. We did see you thinking about whether you wanted to go in or not. It looked like at the last second you thought you might want to go in, but stayed out. I mean, it didn't matter in the end. You ended up holding the position.
Yeah, I saw that. You know, I was figuring 6 seconds and a car behind me, and I would have to push even more. No. But
Understandable. Well, hey, thanks for the time, and congrats on the podium today.
thank you.
Take it easy, man. See ya.
You too.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen, here tonight for Savior 6 Racing League. Round 6 at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya is complete. We'll be racing at Monaco next on Thursday, February 18th, 8 p.m. EST, 5 p.m. PST, or Friday, February 19th at 1 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Thank you all for tuning in, and hope to see you next race. We will try to find a broadcaster for our Monaco race, but if not, our next live stream will be February 21st, Sunday, at the same time as today here. Everybody have a good day, good Valentine's Day, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see ya.